Hey everybody, welcome to Hills and Gills, and if you're new to the channel, my name is Chuck, and we have been doing a little series on some of our favorite jig type patterns, whether it's from Bream all the way up to soon-to-be striper muskies that we're going to be bringing to the channel here. So the link's down in the description to the playlist for that. Also in the description, we're pouring some of our jigs, aspirin the jigs, painting them. As well, we got a little video down there how to remove the collar, a simple, easy way to remove the collars if you're going to be tying some up for yourself. But today, we are going to be tying one of my favorite bait fish in a bucktail jig. And that is nothing more than a good old-fashioned Creek Chub minnow. We have got those just about in every stream and creek, also river, right around here in eastern Kentucky, as well as in our lakes, and I've caught just about every species of fish that swims on a Creek Chub one time or another. It's one of my favorite live baits, and we're going to be bringing it into a bucktail today. And I have tied several of those up today for me and Brandon to get in our tackle box and in our tackle bag and stuff. So guys, I hope you enjoy this tie right here. Let's go ahead and tie up the good old Creek Chub. We're getting ready to get the jig tied up right here. Picked these heads up at Walmart. We didn't pour these right here. Got the #1 hook. This is kind of like a teardrop, as I call it, jig head. We start out with 2 coats of white 164 LA colors with the hardeners in it. Get it with a sticker up here. It's got the hardeners, making it much harder fingernail polish. Then we went with a 412 in the black. I just put a little bit of fingernail polish on the brush and just got that line around through there. And then we went with, this is a topaz. This is a 375. That's what we used right up on top of the head, leaving that belly bottom part of it white. And then we added our eyes to it with good old Loctite, best on the market, as I say all the time, and super glue. And then we hit it with some clear, hard UV resin. Hit it with that light. I also took them out and let the sun hit on them for about 30 minutes or so, and they were ready to tie. The thread that we're using, this is by Dansville. This is an A in nylon. And we're going to start out just like always. We're going to work our way right back to the tip of that hook. When I hear that click of that hook, I work my way back up several turns, or about quarter way up. And I could have had my tools out here waiting to get this video started, but I didn't. We'll get that cut off. Now what we're going to start out with today is a hackle feather in the back. I like giving kicker tails. That's just me. You don't have to. If you got like brown, I've seen Creek Chubs with orange tails, olive colored tails, grayish looking tails. But today I'm going to be using like a brownish black. And I want this to come off about 1.5 inches or right around 2 inches would be fine. Back there for that tail. When that bucktail's back, it's just going to make it look like a tail swimming, give it a little action, track them fish. You know what I'm saying there. And we're going to just take it, lay it down here. I'm going to get a good measurement on it. Then I'm going to rip some of these excess feathers off here and get this, start getting this in shape, ready to be laid down here and tied up for us right here. So I'm going to take a few more of these off, exposing that stem. Just like so right there. So let's see here. That looks pretty good right there. I'm going to try to get this stem to lay right on top of the shank of that hook. I'm going to give it a couple loose wraps here. Try to keep it from twisting on me, and they will twist. That's where you gotta just work with them. Give it a few more wraps down toward the bend of the hook. That's looking pretty dang good right there. So we're just gonna keep making some semi-loose wraps. That looks good. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to seat this in. I'm just going to put some nice tight wraps back up toward the jig head. I'm going to run back down a piece because this is a bass, walleye, anything you want to throw it for type of jig. Now I'm going to take a little bit of super glue, and I'm just going to put a little small drop or two right there on the feathers, not much, or on the stem, that is. And then I'm going to take my old spent brush, and I'm just going to work it in. Everything loves a creek chub, guys. And there goes some of my stuff in the floor. But that's perfectly fine with me. I'll pick it up in a little bit. So next time we're going to put on this, we are going to add some white and a little bit of brown. I like getting a little bit of white and brown in my bucktail. This is just a natural bucktail on that belly part. So I'm just going to pinch me off a little bit here and cut it. If we need to add more, we can. That'd be no problem. Let me get my scissors here. Get a nice clean cut there. Just like so. And then get some measurements right here. That looks pretty good right there. I want that tail to stick out some to be able to see the action of it. So right there looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and get this cut. Get him smoothed up. Yeah, that'll work perfect right there. Now I'm just going to lay it right behind that jig head right there. And I'm going to give him a loose wrap, laying him right on top of the shank of that hook. One more loose wrap, and then one semi-tight wrap to see where I'm at with it. That looks good. And then I'm just going to give it a few wraps, just locking it in. And get ready to add our next step. So right there we go. Now I'm just going to go ahead and flip my vise over. Bring it down a little bit right there. And the next color that we're going to be adding is we're going to be adding a black. We're going to be adding a black because that creek chub's got that black stripe running down it. And this little tail I picked up here, it's got some super nice, not so long black hair. And I got this tail. I think this is by Do It. Picked it up at a local store. So again, we just need another little pinch, just a small pinch for that black. Not much at all. Need a little bit longer though. That looks pretty good. Get a big scissors. We'll go ahead and get this cut. Removing any of that excess, any of that loose. And then we'll take a look at him here. That looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to go ahead, lay it right on top of that shank, bumping right up against that jig head. And again, 1, 2 loose wraps, and then one pretty tight one. And at this point, I want to see where I'm at with it. That's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and give some tight wraps and lock this down a little bit. There we go. Okay, guys, we're ready to put the back on this creek chub pattern that we're tying up right now. And if you just got a regular bucktail, just a regular traditional bucktail, you can go with the back side of it and put a brown back on it. But most of the creek chubs that we use around here in eastern Kentucky, like from small to medium size, like we're tying right here, has got like a greenish brown or an olive looking brown back on them, unlike the bigger, more mature type creek chubs. And if you've got a tail that is been dyed green or chartreuse, maybe even like a yellow dyed tail, you can use this hair right back here, and you can see the difference between the back side of these two, and it's kind of got an olive looking, greenish looking tint to it, that brown hair. And if you dig around, I use this for 90% of my small bait fish type ties, and also for like little bugs and stuff for brim. And if you dig around in it enough, you will find longer enough to her to put on like a medium tied jig like we're tying today. So I'm going to look here, dig around here, try to find a little bit longer hair on the back of this. And get a cut here. If we have to add more, that will be perfectly fine. But something like this right here, that's a nice looking color for a back of a medium, about a half grown type Creek Chub. This may be just a little bit too much, so we'll take a little of this out. And I'm just going to lay this over to the side. I may use that for like a small bug type, or like a little small minnow for a brim in a tie sometime. Get some of that loose out here. Check it there, that looks pretty good. Trim it up a little more right there. We want this kind of flushed, all them hairs. Up, I can always brush it out. It ain't a make or break type deal. There we go. I'm just going to lay this right on top of that black. And again, a couple of loose wraps. And then one kind of a medium. Take a look at it. That looks pretty good right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to web finish it. I'm going to do 5 and 5 like always on my bigger fish type jigs. And then we're going to do one more right here of 5. There we go. And then as always, I take my finger, wrap around, seating that down real good on that jig, and then we will cut it. When you do that, be sure not to break your thread. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my Loctite super glue. I'm going to put 2 or 3 nice drops on it. That gives it a nice shiny look on that collar. Plus, that bucktail isn't going to go anywhere. And I just take this spent brush right here, and I just work it all around it, locking all of that bucktail in. And we will be done with this bad boy right here. Well, guys, there you go. I gave that collar time to dry up there with that super glue, and it is locked in. That bucktail isn't going to go anywhere. This is a killer Creek Chub pattern. Be excellent for those rivers, whether you're fishing for walleye, those big smallies, whitebass, trout. Just like I said in the first part of the video, I have caught just about every species here in Kentucky. It swims. And don't forget to check the playlist out down below. Got some more jig ties down there. Got a whole lot more coming of our favorite patterns. And if you like the video, I hope you give us a thumbs up. That helps our little channel out here. Also follow us over on Facebook and on Instagram. And until next time, stay safe out there on the water. And we'll see you right here in the next one. Have a great day.